Hello everyone, Douglas Ducote here. My new book, From Baton Rouge to Baghdad and Back, is available now at Walmart, Amazon, Google, iTunes. Please check it out. I had the opportunity to either write about my 4 combat tours and the horrors of war like everyone else does, or I chose to write about the humorous side of military service. So there are stories about things that I experienced in Operation Desert Storm and Operation Just Cause down in Panama and everything in between. The funny things that I went through and I lived through. The things that require basically a sixth sense of humor to get by. So this is a great gift for anyone that you know that's served in the United States military, as well as those that just like to read things that are funny. My whole purpose was to make you laugh. And if this book, From Baton Rouge to Baghdad and Back, makes you laugh, then it was worth my time and effort in writing it. So please check it out. You can buy the book starting today at Walmart, Amazon, Google, iTunes, and Barnes & Noble. Thank you and God bless. Good evening, Patriots, and welcome to the first show of 2026. Happy New Year to you. Hope you all had a wonderful and blessed evening last night. I hope you were safe, whatever you were doing. And excuse me for getting on late tonight, but as usual, it always seems like there's a technical difficulty with StreamYard or with YouTube or with Rumble every time we try and go live. But anyhow, I think we got all the kinks worked out, and hopefully tonight's show will go smoothly. Okay, so I want to dive into really the what's happening. That's not all the news media is covering it the way it should be covered, although they are all covering it. Some are trying to cover it up, and that is this Somali fraud that has taken place across our nation. It was first exposed in Minnesota. And basically, for those of you that haven't been following this case, there were some reporters like me, or journalists, not major players like CNN or Fox News or ABC or CBS or any of them, but independent reporters that uncovered that there were, in the Somali population in Minnesota, running daycare organizations and getting massive amounts of money from the federal government. To the tune of billions of dollars. Okay, each one of these daycares were getting at or close to or over $1 million a piece in federal subsidies for having daycare centers. And what they uncovered was that most of these were just the front. They weren't legitimate daycares. These Somali refugees that were brought over here during the Obama administration managed to figure out how to navigate our system and use corruption and get money for free. Your money, taxpayer money. So the FBI started looking into this. In the meantime, these journalists took it to the governor, Tim Walz, and said, hey man, look what we exposed. We went to these places and there weren't legitimate daycare centers. They didn't have kids there. And so Tim Walz did have his attorney general and his people look into this. And they started exposing it. Then the Somali community, led by Alihan Omar, Congressman one each, rose up and started calling racism and saying, oh no, you're just against black people and brown people, right? So Walz backed down and had the attorney general back down. Well, more and more independent journalists brought this to the forefront, to the point of finally now we have major investigations going on. Before what I'm about to share with you, this independent journalist hit the news waves majorly. I'm talking this video has went viral across the globe, much less here in America, on Rumble, on YouTube, on X, Instagram, you name it. It's gone rapid. But before that happened, the FBI and Department of Justice had already started looking into some of these that were exposed originally going back a few years ago and found that they were not real daycares. And these people were defrauding the government millions and millions of dollars. And people were arrested and people were charged for this. Some of them are doing prison time as I speak. Okay, so it's legit. There are people going to jail for this. But then the Biden-Harris administration comes along and they back off completely from the Somali community and allow it to just continue to get worse. That's where these new independent journalists come in and start exposing this crap. And when I say exposing it, I'm talking about literally linking it to Alihan Omar herself, the governor himself, and Keith Ellison, who used to be a congressman, and now he's just a corrupt as hell Muslim leader in that area. And Alihan Omar, for instance, a lot of these key players that are being investigated right now are all part of her top community, her leadership. You know, she's done all kinds of stuff with them and backed up and said that their organization is legit. And we're, of course, now finding out that they're not legit. They were far from legit. It was all fake crap, all right? And where Alihan Omar's ass is in a sling is she went from, you know, making $175,000 as a congressman or whatever it is they make to all of a sudden she gets remarried and this new guy gets involved with these corporations in Minnesota that are now under investigation that were stealing billions of dollars. And all of a sudden her income gets reported as $30 million last year. How does that happen? Okay, so it's my guess that she's going down. It's just a matter of time. I think Tim Walz will as well. But anyhow, let's move on so you understand a little bit clearer about what all is happening here. Give me 1 second. Why am I? Oh, I know what's going on. That wasn't turned on. I'm sorry. So one of the many Somali-run daycares in Minnesota, or Minneapolis, that was part of the FBI DOJ investigation for fraud, is now claiming, are you ready for this? Now that they're moving in on them, claiming that they were broken into and vandalized, and important documents, including records related to who their employees were, who the children were all stolen. Before the FBI got there to knock down their door, oh, somebody broke in and stole all the shit. You couldn't make this up if you tried to make this up. All right? So watch this little piece right here. This sums it up really, really good for you.
Caught red-handed was a person, it'd be this motherfucker.
Morning, I was called by the owner because unfortunately someone came in to our daycare. We looked and saw what happened, and we saw that the suspect came in from the back, broke in from the back kitchen, and he also destroyed the wall to come in. As we walked around the daycare, we saw that our office doors was broken into as well. We saw that, unfortunately, there was important documentation, enrollment of the children, and also employee documentation that was gone. There were also checkbooks that were ripped from our check papers that were ripped from our book. This is devastating news, and we don't know why this is targeting our Somali community, as one video made by a specific individual made this all happen. We've been receiving hateful messages through our voice notes threatening us since the past couple of days, including one that happened yesterday morning when after the break-in. This is frightening and exhausting because this is happening to us Somali communities as Somali Americans. We are supposed to stand with each other and help each other through everything that's happening. This is also sad that a video can cause all of this. I want to say that there are hundreds of daycares out there, Somali daycares that are out there, and we all help our children and everyone in our community. And this is very sad news that one individual who made a false claim about fraud that is happening in the daycares engaged everyone else to come and do this to us.
This has got to be a bad comedy skit. I mean, who the hell is supposed to believe this? And Democrats are they're defending this shit? I mean, this motherfucker is clearly lying. And not to mention, with that New York hat, he kind of looked like Pete Diddy. I mean, this theft have got to be better than Watergate.
Oh my gosh, there's nothing for you to investigate because somebody broke in and stole all our shit. They took all our records so that you can't see them. It's like a Saturday Night Live skit. Like, are you serious? Look, so what video is he talking about? Okay, a video. Is he referring to a video did all this? A video is making them look so bad. Okay, it wasn't a video. It was several videos. He went around to several of these daycare centers that are getting millions of American dollars that weren't legitimate daycare centers. We didn't know what they were. They just didn't have kids there. And then in some cases where they claimed they had kids and they showed video of, oh, look, here's the kids being delivered and walking in there, get out of the car, being escorted in. Okay. Then they went and set up video cameras to watch it the next day. And they go in, all the kids, and within 30 minutes, the families come back around in cars and pull them all out again. And then there's nobody there the rest of the day. It's all fraud. Okay, playing out. Sadly, CNN is trying to cover for these motherfuckers and trying to say that, how dare Trump come down on this community, all right? Well, now we're finding out it's not just Minneapolis, all right? It's rampant with the Somali communities in many different locations, in Chicago, in Washington State, all right? So here's a few clips that I put together of the video that caused all these problems for the Somali community. And you figure it out yourself.
Be closed. No one's opening the doors.
You work here?
I was, yeah. What's happened?
Where are the kids?
Yeah?
It says it's licensed for 74 children. Right here, state of Minnesota. Where are the kids? They got paid $1.26 million in fiscal year 2025. It says they have a capacity for 74 children.
When?
Where are the kids? Right here. State of Minnesota website. You work here and you don't know?
I don't know. I was there before. I don't know what's going on.
Were there any kids when you worked here?
He's there. Kids there.
How many?
I don't know.
You don't know?
Yeah.
You worked here. Okay, well, then you're not of any help.
Can I put my son in a daycare here?
No, I don't know.
Can I speak to someone?
No, I don't know.
No? Yeah, I would like to see if I can put my son Joey here.
Who's your son, Joey?
My son Joey. Can I check out daycare center?
How you know my son? No! I'm the owner.
Do you put your kid here in this daycare?
No.
There is one child in there. Yeah, I'd like to know if this is a legit business.
Me, I'm scared of you too. How come I explain everything?
You're scared of me?
Yeah.
Why?
Because of your curry.
Because of my color. You said you're scared of me because of my color. Does that make you a racist?
Yeah, no.
But
no.
you said you're scared of me because of my color.
I'm not saying you're racist.
You said you're scared of me because of my color. That makes you a racist. So right now, they're all getting mad because he's showing the paperwork of this business being registered as a business. 74 children, no children. We saw one child when the lady opened up the door. So now they're all getting mad.
What was this money spent on? 1.26 million. What was that money spent on? There aren't any kids.
Ask the owner and the kids.
Well, then why are you talking for the owner if you're telling me to talk to the owner?
I'm sorry. I'm not understand what you're talking about.
Do you have a child here?
No.
Does anybody?
No.
Where are the 74 kids? Did you lose them? Did you lose these kids? Do I need to call someone? Do I need to issue an Amber Alert for missing children? Are these children missing? It's not my business that children are missing. 74 infants and toddlers, preschool.
The proof's right there. There's no children anywhere.
It's from the state of Minnesota right here.
I think we're moving on to the next location. Have a good
That ring.
This is Seattle.
So as you can see, no one here is answering. It's just past 10 a.m. right now. Hello, looking to get some information about childcare. Okay, so as you can see, I just asked about childcare. Is this childcare for children? It's not? Yeah, I just want to make sure this is Tawakkol House. Yes. Okay, just wanted to make sure. What's the email address? This is Noreen Childcare here at 2918. Okay, how come I can't receive childcare here? Okay, face covering required. I saw this location on the Department of Children, Youth, and Families. I just saw you go in a moment ago, ma'am. Are you unfamiliar with this address right here, 2918, is listed?
I don't know.
The kid started to answer honestly, and his dad then became a bit panicked and rushed him inside. Hello? I saw you move the blinds. I'm just looking for some information about childcare, daycare. Looking for information about childcare, please. So the person just moved the blinds over there. There's absolutely someone here. This business is open right now, according to the DCYF website. If you've seen the Nick Shirley story on YouTube about Minnesota, where they've got all those facilities over there and they're listed as, operating 24/7, 365. So I came down here as a journalist to see if that's in fact what's going on. This Seattle Housing Authority location is listed as having, within a 3 square block area, as having 20 facilities operating childcare at them.
Okay.
And so far, only one of them appears to be legit.
Okay. You have a gun on you?
Oh, I didn't ask questions like that.
Okay. Well, the issue is that now they're saying that you lifted your shirt in a way to demonstrate that you were armed. You didn't. There was no intention.
No!
Okay,
yeah,
well,
that's it.
don't lie to me. You were there. There was someone back there. You was someone over here. Did you feel fear for your safety? Like what was going on?
No, I didn't feel fear. I didn't feel fearful for my safety. I was just like, hey guys, what are you doing? I was just trying to ask what was going on.
And so to that end, did you ever move your shirt to...
Now think about this for a second. They just told the Seattle police what's going on. And all they care about is whether or not legally he's carrying a firearm, if he exposed the firearm to these illegitimate, illegal fraudsters from Somalia. They don't give a fuck about the truth. They don't care about arresting these motherfuckers for taking millions of your taxpayer dollars. They question whether or not the Somali woman is threatened by him.
Reveal that you're armed. You can tell that the community is upset at large, and so if we just walk away from this, then obviously that's going to have, well-documented after effects. So,
again, okay? I have kids sleeping in my room.
So, Yeah.
I'm going to DCYF Child Care Center.
Okay?
I'm going. There's licenses for these places. I'm going there to see if you guys have applications for service.
They have a capacity for 74 children.
When? No, yeah.
You worked here, okay.
Now, think about this for a moment. The Seattle police is doing nothing. And this is why the federal government has to get involved with the Department of Justice. This is why Trump has to go do something and have the FBI get involved. Because the Democrat-run cities, which is where this is taking place, are protecting these people that are ripping off the American taxpayer. They're making the police department stand down and not arrest these fuckers, not investigate them. You couldn't make this shit up if you tried. It's absolutely batshit crazy. So this is what's happening up in Columbus, Ohio right here. Let's move on. 14 million in 2024. And there weren't legitimate daycares.
How are you? I would like to see if I could bring little Joey, my son little Joey here. Is there paperwork or can I check out the daycare? No? Why can't I check out the daycare?
Nothing's not here.
Okay, but if can I get paperwork or anything to submit my son little Joey to come in here to daycare? We'd really like to put Joey in this daycare. We've heard great things.
Business card?
No, I would like your business card actually.
Poor little Joey can't get in the daycare.
Okay, can I speak with somebody? Where are the children at? Are there children here today?
No.
No children.
Yes.
Why are there no children?
Two of Mexico.
Would my son little Joey have friends to play with here?
No.
No.
Yes.
No friends for little Joey.
Yes. Sorry.
Ah, dang it. Well, have a great rest of your day.
Thank you.
So, little Joey would not be accepted to that daycare.
Joey's still homeless.
Joey's still looking for daycare.
And because little Joey couldn't get into a daycare, we went to an autism center, as they have been popping up everywhere as a rise of autism has occurred here in Minnesota because of the government funds that they are receiving. I tried to check my son Joey into an autism center.
We've been going to a lot of these daycare centers. We're trying to find a spot for our little boy Joey, but we thought maybe we could check him into the autism center because none of the daycare centers are open. Yeah, and how many kids do you guys have at this autism center?
I can't give you a number now.
Like more than 5? Probably, so you don't really know?
Yeah.
What do you guys think about like the fraud that's been labeled on the autism centers here? What do you guys do think about the fraud, or how come the autism centers are popping up?
I can't answer.
What news? Are you a news reporter?
My name's Nick. We're doing a little documentary trying to find little Joey a spot to put himself in one of these centers here, because there's
Why are you asking us about
the fraud.
and stuff like that?
Yeah, because we want to make sure we're going to legit business if we're going to bring our little boy Joey here.
This is not a Joey spot. But that's our number. But this is we can't let you guys speak.
Oh, okay. Thank you. So once again, little Joey, he can't even go to daycare, and now they won't even accept him if he has autism.
And again, no kids. Couldn't tell you how many kids they serve.
Look, I'm feeling sorry for poor little Joey. All right. I mean, this is just not right. I mean, it's not funny, but it's funny. Okay. You know, maybe it's a sixth sense of humor I have. It's so batshit crazy and unbelievable that it's comical. It's literally like a comedy script for Saturday Night Live. I'm sure they're going to do something on this. I guarantee you Saturday Night Live will do a skit on this. I mean, it's... Anyhow, as if that's not bad enough, all right? There's a reporter for Politico. His name is Josh Grinsting. That'd be him right there. He's got ICE pretty pissed off right now, all right? Because he's accusing ICE of inciting violence following Monday night's X post in which he suggested at some point the amateur effort knocking on doors of home daycare centers in Minnesota, because now ICE and the FBI and DOJ, they're going out to all these daycare centers to find out if they're legit or not. Knocking on these doors in Minnesota is enormously deemed the state's robust stand your ground laws, meaning the daycare workers have the right, if they feel threatened, to shoot and kill the FBI and the ICE officers. That piece of shit right there for Politico is letting the Somali community know that they have rights under the stand your ground laws in Minneapolis, if they feel threatened, to shoot and kill those knocking on the doors asking for legitimate information. An appointed post on X, Politico Sr. legal affairs reporter, that someone with his title should have known better than to make social media posts that can incite violence against federal officers. You would think a senior legal affairs reporter for Politico would know better than to tweet something inciting violence against federal agents, ICE wrote in their response. He appeared to reference an investigation by independent journalist Nick Shirley, which we just showed you the videos of what he was doing, of the widespread fraud at the Minnesota daycare centers, which has gone viral now. Altogether, there's 42 minutes worth of video that this journalist did on these different centers. Grinston faced widespread criticism on social media after posting the comment, which users accused him of calling for violence and mocking his understanding of Minnesota's gun laws. After the reporter's post had gone viral, he clarified his statement, commenting under his original post to observe that something is likely to happen or there is a serious risk of it happening is not advocating for it to happen, he explained. I'm not even gonna, there's several pages of this that I was gonna share with y'all about this fucking idiot and the things that he said. You can go look it up at Politico if you want. It's all over the fucking internet. It's going viral. That piece of shit right there is letting the Somali community believe that they have the right to shoot and kill anybody that comes and knocks on their door if they feel threatened, to asking about whether or not they're legitimate daycares. That is fucked up. Like, very fucked up. Let's talk about something else that's just gone absolutely off the rails, my friends. Oh my gosh, is it going off the rails? And no better place than the liberal shithole of San Francisco, California. You know what that is right there? You know what that's a picture of? It's African-American slaves picking cotton. Think that picture was maybe taken in San Francisco? You do? Well, think again. But let me tell you what's happening in San Francisco. The mayor of San Francisco has just signed an ordinance that creates a reparations fund that would grant each of its city's eligible Black residents up to $5 million apiece in reparations for alleged historical discrimination and displacement. The ordinance, which was passed by the Board of Supervisors earlier this month, was signed by Democrat Mayor Daniel Laura 2 days before Christmas. It establishes the legal framework for the fund, but does not allocate funds or guarantee payments. The fund can be financed by private donations, foundations, and other non-city sources. Any taxpayer-funded reparation payouts would require separate legislation as identified funding sources and mayoral approval. So basically what he's saying is he wants corporations, major companies, Google, Yahoo, everybody, all these billion-dollar corporations in California to step forward and help put this money in a fund so all these black people can get $5 million each because their ancestors were enslaved. Okay? You following me with this? Laurel told Fox News Digital that no taxpayer money would be paid into the potential pot, given the city's $1 billion budget deficit. I was elected to drive San Francisco's recovery, and that's what I'm focused on every day, he said in his statement. We're not allocating money to this fund, which is a historic $1 billion budget deficit. We're going to spend our money on making the city safer and cleaner. The reparations plan outlines a variety of methods to provide restitution, compensation, rehabilitation to individuals who are black and are descendants of the enslavement persons and have experienced a proven harm in San Francisco. The ordinance specifically cites a 2023 policy report that recommends documents produced by the San Francisco African American Reparations Advisory Committee. Well, in case you missed that, it's AARAC. The San Francisco African American Reparations Advisory Committee, a city-appointed advisory committee. The report, which is non-binding, study harms to black residents and propose remedies, including recommending a $5 million payment for each black resident. Around 46,000 black residents live in San Francisco, according to the U.S. Census data. It argued that black San Franciscans are victims of decades of city-driven residential displacement and racial discrimination, particularly during the urban renewal era, the period from the mid-1940s through the 1970s. You don't think that has anything to do with illegal immigrants you allowed to come across the fucking border? The city and county of San Francisco and its agencies should issue a formal apology for past harms and commit to making substantial ongoing systematic and programmatic investments in black communities to address historic harms, report states an executive summary. Proposed that the city provide a one-time lump payment to each black citizen in San Francisco of $5 million each. The report also recommended a guaranteed annual income tied to annual median income and creation of new city agencies, including an Office of Reparations to administer the program. It's also called for major housing interventions, such as rental assistance, homeownership support, and city-backed funds to purchase property along black business corridors, as well as multi-million-dollar investments in black-owned businesses. The California legislation has attempted to pass specific reparation bills, but has so far failed to do so. Several proposed stalls were rejected after the state's reparations task force, which was set up in 2020, and we reported on that right here at the Douglas Ducote Show, recommended reparations proposals. Okay, so this is why this is just absolutely batshit crazy. Are you ready for this? Fact. And liberals, if you don't believe me, use ChatGPT, use Google, look it the fuck up yourself, because I know you're going to claim that I'm full of shit, like you always do. Fact. California was never a plantation owner slave state. States like in the South, for instance, there were no plantations growing cotton, sugar, or tobacco, which is what the slaves were used for in the first place. The basic climate, economic, and geographic didn't support that. And the biggest fact that this is all Democrat political bullshit is when California entered the Union in 1850, it was admitted as a free state with no slavery. Never in the history of the state of California was there black people enslaved like there was in, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, North Carolina, Georgia, you name it. That didn't exist in California, ever. Ever. But the Democrats have run out of ways to win races. They now have to come up with bullshit to try and entice people to vote for them, which they've been doing a great job of, even back when I was a Democrat. They did a great job of that. Let's give free shit to illegal aliens so they will vote Democrat. Let's give free shit to black people so that they will vote Democrat. And it's worked. For years, it's worked. That doesn't matter in California because any election for president is determined before the California polls even fucking open, much less close. Okay? They're not a swing state by any means. So it's all a political ploy. And the Democrat Party, even when I was a Democrat, and for those of you who've been following this show for a long time, you know my family history, I've shared it openly with you all. We were very, very involved in the Democrat political machine. Relatives of mine that were Democrat congressmen and senators, governor of the state of Louisiana. I know very well about the history of the Democrat Party. And I've shared that time and time and time again on this podcast of how corrupt they are from its inception to today. Yet, the liberal Democrats out there want to make you believe that people like me that know better actually don't. And that's on them because they're fucking idiots. They managed to get a hold of the Hunter Biden crack pipe and it went to the brains. Okay, so now we're going to talk about something that is a big pet peeve of mine. I told you all going back after the event that happened on January 6th at the Capitol that this was a setup. I was one of the first people to come out, and at that time I was exclusively pretty much on YouTube, not X and Rumble and my own website and all that stuff, telling you that as a former law enforcement officer, this shit's not adding up. Okay, I watched with my own eyes what was going on over there, and then I watched listened to what my friends in law enforcement that were on the ground there were sharing with me, and other friends. In fact, I was supposed to be on the ground there. My wife and I mean, we announced in advance on the show that we would be there. I was going to be there reporting on the whole damn J6 thing. And we got COVID like 3 days before, and I ended up in the hospital and almost died. We almost both died. So we weren't able to go. Thank goodness, because I probably went to fucking prison with a bunch of other people just for recording the shit. So as more and more came out about the J6 committee and about what we could see with our own eyes and what we were hearing from the committee itself investigating, and what my law enforcement people were telling me and people that were there on the ground reporting was this shit wasn't adding up. It was a setup. And we were called conspiracy theorists and right-wing nut jobs and all that kind of crap, all right? Well, since then, all kinds of shit has come out. And now we know, I can honestly say, on January 1st of 2026, the entire J6 debacle was a Democrat set-up plan to stop Trump and arrest massive amounts of MAGA people and label them as domestic terrorists. And now all the facts are coming out, especially after now that we have the Department of Justice and the FBI, and we can go in and we can look at all this shit. And then we saw what Joe Biden did on the way out the door, which we're going to talk about in a minute, which was the biggest key that I was right all along. You ready for this? Former Special Counsel Jack Smith. Y'all remember him, right? Sure you do. He was the one that was going to go take Trump down for J6. He was the one responsible for all these people getting put in prison that were involved in J6. Now, I'm not advocating, and I'm not going to stand by for anybody on J6 that committed violence against a police officer. Nope. I will never, ever stand here and tell you that that was okay. But that was only a few individuals, like less than 20, and the Democrat lie that police officers were killed by these people on J6, that never happened. Not a single police officer died due to what anybody at J6 did to them. The only person that died that day was a MAGA female U.S. military veteran that was shot and, as far as I'm concerned, murdered by a Capitol police officer. That's the only death that took place at the Capitol on that day. Although if you listen to these liberal pundits, they, to this day, members of Congress up in D.C. will continue to say that police officers were not just assaulted, but killed that day. And they continue to spread that false narrative, and liberal media picks it up, and they continue to spread it all over, especially on places like YouTube. It's all not true. It's bullshit. Didn't happen. Okay. Before we go deep into Jack Smith, let's talk about some facts, all right? Facts that my liberal friends are going to say are full of shit. Well, there are not two sets of facts. There's only one set of facts. And if you don't want to believe mine, you want to believe what the liberal BS idiots are putting out on liberal shit, that you do it. Whatever, I don't care. I know what the facts are. I've followed this like my life depended on it. Here's a careful fact-based breakdown of what has actually been established regarding the U.S. House January 6th committee that investigated Donald Trump and the Patriots on the ground that day. Now, as of now, no court has ruled that January 6th committee committed any criminal fraud. But that's coming, my friends. Due to the fraud that I'm sharing with you right now that are factual about that day. Fact number one, the J6 committee, we now know, destroyed public federal records that they relied on for the conviction of thousands of those American patriots that day. The committee did not preserve all the interviews, transcripts, drafted materials, and digital records. They destroyed them before Republicans took back the House and Senate. Fact, in January 2023, the House Administration's Committee, bipartisan under Biden-Harris, confirmed that many of these records were not archived as they were supposed to in their final report and had indeed been destroyed by that committee. Why would you do that? Why would you destroy all the evidence that you used to have these people convicted and thrown in prison? In fact, this violates the House archival laws. In fact, the Biden-Harris DOJ stated it received all material involving J6 from the House committee, which we now know is a lie. The J6 committee chose which testimony, videos, and transcripts to release publicly, and anything that did not fit their narrative or that went against prosecution was never released to the public, which was 90% of all the fucking evidence. In fact, some of the witnesses have now come out and testified that what the J6 committee put in writing and said that they said was selectively quoted or edited, and that's illegal. In fact, some of the J6 committee witnesses coordinated directly with the J6 staff. Notably was witness Cassie Hutchinson, which we saw paraded all over the fucking news by Nancy Pelosi and by Adam Schiff and the whole committee. She was their star witness. That's coaching the witness 101, plain and simple. That's illegal. In fact, the J6 committee relied on secondhand or hearsay testimony as facts. Congressional committees are not bound by courtroom evidence rules. The J6 committee took all of that and basically threw it out the fucking window. In fact, J6 committee members deleted their text messages about what they were testifying to and what they were showing as evidence, and even got the Secret Service or recommended that they delete text messages between them and the Secret Service when it came to J6 stuff. In fact, the Biden-Harris DOJ Inspector General found no evidence the committee ordered deletions. Of course they found that. They claim some messages were lost due to device migration, but not proven malfeasance. Fact, just before leaving office, and this is the biggest one of them all, my friends, President Biden issued a blanket pardon for any crimes that may have been committed by the J6 committee. A blanket pardon from when they started the committee to its final report. If, after I'm out of office, it's found that they committed illegal activity, then they're pardoned. Why would you do that? Why would you do any of this stuff? And now, drum roll, please. Special Counsel Jack Smith testified in front of Congress, and what an explosive confession he gave that the liberal media is ignoring tonight. Back to that piece of shit. Former Special Counsel Jack Smith undercut claims made by Cassie Hutchinson, a former White House aide and January 6th committee witness, while testifying in a recent deposition to Congress. Smith told the House Judiciary Committee this month that he evaluated Hutchinson's explosive claims as part of his investigation and prosecution of Donald J. Trump related to the 2020 election, according to a transcript published Wednesday. Smith said they had deficiencies because Hutchinson did not offer any firsthand information. Asked during the deposition how he would have approached cross-examining Hutchinson, Smith said he would have moved to prohibit most of her testimony from being used. If I were a defense attorney for Ms. Hutchinson, were a witness, the first thing I would do was seek to preclude some of her testimony because it was all hearsay. And I didn't have the full range of her testimony in front of me right now, but I do remember that it was a decent part of it, Smith said. Smith was also asked about specific claims Hutchinson had made, including that Trump was aware that some of his supporters would be armed at his rally and that Trump attempted to grab the steering wheel of his driver out of anger. Hutchinson was a second or even third witness to such report, Smith added, adding that other witnesses gave different perspectives altogether and said it never happened. Even witnesses that were in the car with him and that gave layouts on how the car is set up and that it was physically impossible for the President of the United States to go from where he sits and reach over and into the driver's area and try and grab the fucking steering wheel. It can't happen. It didn't happen. But the J6 committee didn't let those witnesses' testimony come out. No, they let Hutchinson's third, fourth, fifth-hand knowledge of what supposedly happened be facts. We interviewed, I think, the people she talked to. And we also interviewed, and my recollection is correct, officers who were there, including the officers in the car. And that officer said this didn't make sense. Was Trump angry and wanted to go to the Capitol? Yes. Did he grab the steering wheel? Not physically possible. Smith noted a number of the things that she said as factual and was given as evidence were secondhand hearsay, were things that she had heard from other people, and as a result, that testimony was not admissible. And it certainly would have been powerful as firsthand testimony, and that's how the committee framed it. Hutchinson became a key witness of the Democrat-led J6 committee investigating into the U.S. Capitol attack, testifying privately several times and in public. Her testimony dominated the headlines, but her claims became a point of scrutiny because the committee work lacked credibility because it only had Republican members, and there were two of them, who were anti-Trump lawmakers. Hutchinson served as a top aide to the White House Chief of Staff, Mark Meadows, in the final months of the Trump's first presidency, giving her an inside look at internal investigations. So he was given immunity to tell the truth. Otherwise, he's going to go to fucking jail for everything he did in this whole setup to take down Donald Trump and help imprison these people from J6 and protect that committee. Now, that's just a small portion of what he testified to. In the coming weeks and months, I will continue to share with you all the other shit coming out of his mouth now. He's talking like a fucking canary because he doesn't want to go to fucking prison. And he knows that's what would happen. And of course, now we know that the whole J6 committee shit that Biden did and all these pardons, most of that was done with the auto pen. It's all being removed as if it never happened. And so expect some people to go to fucking prison. Let's hope so. Of course, I'll believe it when I see it. Anyhow, Folks, it has been a pleasure to be tonight. You chose to be here with me, and for that, I'm forever grateful. Whether you're watching us tonight on the YouTube channel, the Rumble channel, the X channel, please like, subscribe, share the channel with your family and friends. Make sure you tell them if they have kids in the room. Mr. Doug sometimes says 1 or 20 bad words, so maybe keep that in mind if your children are around. Other than that, subscribe, like the channel, share it on your social media platforms. That's how we continue to build this program, how we continue to spread the information and get the facts out there to the American people. The facts. Facts about the Democrat membership or Democrat leadership in Congress that my family was all a part of. If anybody on the right, which I am, has the knowledge and credibility to talk negative about the Democrat Party and its leadership, you're looking at him. Because I go very deep into that shithole of the Democrat establishment in Washington, D.C. And trust me, they are the cesspool of our country. I'll be back next week. I hope you will join me for another exciting adventure of what the hell does Douglas have to say now about the corruption in our country. And what's funny is, if I talk bad about anybody on the Republican side, then the Republicans trash me. If I talk bad about Democrats, then the Democrats trash me. You can't win for losing. Point is, a lot of people just don't want to face the truth. Democrats say, well, you can't talk bad about Democrats. Republicans say, oh, well, if you're a Republican, you can't talk bad about Republicans. Well, that's what the problem is we have in Washington, D.C. Each side wants to protect each side. I don't give a shit who you voted for. I don't care if you're a member of the Democrat Party or the Republican Party. If you're doing corrupt shit, expect to be called out about it right here on this show. That's what I do. Because I don't believe in corruption. I believe in honesty. I believe in integrity. I believe in morals and values and beliefs. And if you don't have that, then you don't need to be representing we the people. And I firmly believe that. Be safe this weekend, whatever you're doing. And I hope that you will join me next week. As always, please say a prayer for our men and women serving the United States military, our veterans, our law enforcement officers, our first responders, their families, our angel families, our blue and gold star families in our country. May God bless the United States of America. May God bless each and every one of you. Happy New Year, my friends. And let's march into 2026 taking control of this country. Make this country our bitch because we're taking it back. MAGA by MAGA by MAGA. The Democrat Party, as you know it, is over with. And I can't wait for midterms to get here to put a final nail in the coffin of that corrupt institution. And I hope you'll be here to join me as we move forward to expose the corruption and the lies up in Washington, D.C. Good night, my friends, and God bless you.